Welcome to Senior Living Marketing Perspectives. I'm Debbie Howard with Senior Living Smart, and today my guest is Megan Longley, who is the Vice President of Sales at Axe Retirement. And we have been trying to get this podcast on for over a year, ever since we were on a panel together at, I don't know, there was Smash or Senior Housing News, but I just so wanted to have you on this podcast. So welcome, Megan.
I'm thrilled to be here, and I've so wanted for us to have this opportunity. I think I always say to you, I think you're like legendary in this industry, and I know I embarrass you with that, but it's just you all have always had this great attitude about sharing information, and we're all in this together to do the best we can. And so you're always so willing to help others see things in a different way. And so it's really fun. It's really fun for me.
And it's great to learn from you. We'll jump into some of our topics, but I feel like Megan's someone I can talk to all day and never run out of interesting things to discuss. So
I think you just gave me about 6 topics. So do you have 5 hours?
I do. I do. We have a lot to talk about today. So for those of you who are not familiar with Axe, maybe you can start with just an overview.
Yes. Axe is a nonprofit continuing care retirement community company. We're about 52 plus years old and based out of Pennsylvania, but operating in 28 communities from pretty much along the eastern seaboard, from Pennsylvania down to Florida and a little bit sideways to Alabama. Those other, it's very, I've been in this a long time, Deb, you know that.
Yeah.
I could not be happier working for them.
Yeah.
I just feel like they come from the right place. It's a nonprofit, and I attribute a lot of it to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just 52 years of good people finding good people.
Yeah.
So they see a lot of great benchmarks Axe does on staff turnover, just the things that we're experiencing now, especially lately at a high occupancy. And I think it's just it's a result of being a healthy organization operating from the right premise.
Yeah, it's amazing how when you start with that, success follows.
Yes.
Whereas if you try to start from a place of we're just going to churn and burn for occupancy's sake and without a culture, you're never going to get there. It's so funny. People are always like, how do we get more occupancy? And we're like, run a wonderful organization, have a terrific culture, do the best you can for your residents and your team members, and occupancy will follow, success will follow. But when you get those two things mixed up,
it's so true. And don't blame the salesperson.
That's right. That's right. And we always say more leads isn't going to help either. So don't blame the marketing person.
Yeah, exactly. Stop blaming everybody. Yeah, I think we have something called MAT in our company. And it started out as a salespeople occupancy, the usual. And then it has become now a very big multidisciplinary group that solves intensely the problems of the communities that are always in that 20% that you're focusing on. It's 20%.
That's right.
And that really reminds me so it's people in construction and operations and plant operations and dining. It's everything and anything that is impacting sales. So if any of you are out there and listening to Deb right now and me, that is something I highly recommend. It was transformative for us.
Yeah, just that collaborative, everybody owns the outcome.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you? Do you meet once a month?
And it's often affiliations, which in for-profit world is acquisitions. Some of them initially every 2 weeks, and then hopefully it gets down to every month, and then quarterly, and then they come off our list. And 7 of them graduated from our high focus communities last year.
Yeah.
And by high focus, I meant we were really lucky that our high focus is, are you not 92% or higher?
That's right.
There's 3 or 4 affiliations that do need the extra love.
Yeah.
There's a lot of change that goes on when you roll them into your organization, and it is all aspects of what we do.
Yeah, it's a big transition.
It is. It is.
Yeah, your culture has really created a very successful, stable environment in terms of occupancy, since we're talking about kind of occupancy growth today. And I know that one of the things that I have so admired, and we've talked about this on a couple of panels that we've been on together, is just the innovation and intentionality that your team has around building strong word of mouth and resident referral programs. And I remember a statistic where you said 50% of the move-ins, not just leads, but move-ins, are
Yeah.
really coming through these unpaid referral sources. And everyone's sick to death of aggregators and playing that game. So can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what you do and how you approach that type of program?
Yeah, yeah. I'm amazed by that number too. It's a little bit closer to 45%, but that's still an
It's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with the culture and the company and the stability of it. But so that can't be ignored. But I
Yeah.
think that there's things we're doing now to make that even more special. And so I think we all talk about the prospect journey. We're doing so much on that. And a lot of it starts with our future resident club. And so we're doing a reboot of that. We're doing a lot of reboots this year because we
Yeah.
had programs, but we're really putting more energy into them. And the future resident club for us, you can come on campus and go swimming and go to the dining room. It's almost like a mini club for you to try out. And we incentivize you to come and give you little gifts and things. And so I think that's a great way for prospects to really take it in themselves and get to know other residents. And I know a lot of people have a priority list club or whatever, but ours has really gotten, I think, more meaningful and more open door.
So you're really trying to create that sense of belonging before move-in day.
Correct. Yeah. And I think that's really utilized, but it's really going to be enhanced. And then I think that we have something we call Prospect 365, and that is really neat. This year, that's getting re-energized as well. 18 steps in it. Um,
Wow.
I know. And it starts from when you become a person who says, I want that apartment, when you do your
Yeah.
selection. And from there, there's 18 steps all along the way of different people in the organization who are doing so many variety of things to make sure your move-in goes well, which we both love Live Now.
We do.
And they start with us before the FRC Club, Future Resident Club. So I think we really see Prospect 365 and Live Now, that pain point of moving and deciding to move and just helping us not eliminate, but really make it more of a positive customer service experience. So if they had time through our Future Resident Club to get to know the community, and then they say, hey, I think I really am ready now, then Live Now can help them with all their concierge services to really make the move much more easy and choosing a great realtor. We love them because they also help select vendors that are insured, and Axe loves that. And also just they're our partners. They're really our move-in organization.
Yeah.
And so there's that. But Prospect 365 we've found it all comes from the pain points, right?
Yeah.
The pain point was from the moment that they said, I want that apartment, to that gap between when they come in and sign their contract and move in. It's all pain. It's like financially qualifying, house green, moving. It's all the horrible things that, a lot of them would just want to run for the hills because it's just not pleasant.
They get so excited about, wow, I found the place. My apartment's finally available. Today's the day. And then, oh no, that's a lot of work to get from here to there.
It is a lot of work, and you're not necessarily seeing the benefit yet. I mean, you've been told about the benefit, but it's not real. I think you know this as well as anybody. I'm so often surprised by the fear of moving and then the actual feedback that you get once residents move. I call it the fear gap because you wish in our marketing or whatever that we all do that we were able to help them see the light in their hearts see the light of how better their life will be in so many aspects if they make the move. You hear the stories. I never painted before. I never had this best friends like this. I
Yeah.
never. And they're like it's like going off to college a little bit. They're
Yeah.
rediscovering things about themselves. And
Yeah.
I love that about what we do. That's why I love sales, because we get to see that. But translating that is hard. So whatever we all can do to build services that and marketing stories that tell that and hopefully resonate with them,
Yeah.
give them chances to be around our residents. I talk a lot about our resident panels. I love
Mhm.
those. I think those are like, you couldn't advertise better than having your residents at an event saying, I went through that. This is what I thought, and this is what I'm really actually finding. Do you know?
So how do you actually walk them through that transition in a way that they can keep excited and not be overwhelmed? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think the steps are so big, but some of the highlights of them are, one of the things we're doing is creating a pre-resident portal so that the
Mm-hmm.
paperwork and a lot of that stuff could be filled out ahead of time,
Yeah.
and that we can start increasing that feeling of membership where they can look at some of the activities of the day, and being future resident club members, they can pick and choose wanting to come in and use them. So it's like you're a member long before you move in. That part we're just
Mm-hmm.
getting out. So that isn't as baked as some of the other things. The Prospect 365, it has so many steps, but it has a lot to do with on move-in day, putting things in their refrigerator, making sure that all the right people check in with them, giving them a video on what to expect, introducing them to all the department heads, new residents, welcoming them to
Mm-hmm.
everything so that there's that connection and attachment.
Yeah.
Residents love doing that.
Just pay it forward. I was the newbie a couple months ago, and now I can help somebody else. Show
Yes.
them the ropes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that there's so many steps. I was looking at them before this. Move-in day is a biggie. Preparing for the move, like we talked about a little bit. We do new resident surveys. We're big on surveys. They tell us a lot about what people experienced. And interestingly, the surveys tell you that residents are most happy the first few years that they live there.
Okay.
Maybe it's like everybody else and they get tired of the same pasta dish or something. I don't know.
Right.
They're never happier. So it's a great time to get referrals from them. So we give community gifts. A lot of them really want to have Axe gear. I have so much Axe gear they can have a lot of
Oh,
my closet.
so they like the swag, right?
They love the swag.
Yeah.
And we're doing a lot with well-being, and you had touched on that earlier. So a lot of places are talking about well-being, do you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I really, as of the end of this year, we'll have our program. We've been piloting it and testing it, but we'll have it fully rolled out in all of our communities. And the concept is that you're really living your most successful life in every part of where you live at an ACT community, from independent living, assisted living, memory care, skilled care. But what well-being has is really keeping you healthier. And so when you move in, it's your choice, but you can benefit from, you get an Apple Watch, you get an iPad. There's all kinds of things that are, what part of this new life that you're living do you want to enhance? It could be spirituality, it could be mental health, it could be the dietitian, it could be physical fitness, it could be just a social life and connecting, the joy span of it all.
Yeah.
You know? And also we have a program called Thrive. So that's building your core strength. And a lot of companies have been doing that for years, but we really are incorporating that all together. So you pick and choose where you want to be your best you. And that's what the program, there's nurse practitioners, there's nurse navigators that are all meeting with you to talk about what you want and then where you want to take it, and progress along the way. So to me, the program has really got some meat on it. It's not just a word.
And it's also, you can personalize it to what well-being means to you. It's not doesn't sound like it's prescriptive in any way.
Yeah, not at all. In fact, you don't need to do it. It'll be all around you. It'd be hard not to do it. Yeah, I think that's the key. I think you're really making, and that's what we know the boomers want, right?
Oh, yeah,
We all
choice.
want it. No,
Right.
I'm tired of saying the boomers want it. We all want it.
Yeah.
And we all want to live. We want to go in to a retirement or senior living community and think, in many respects, this phase of life is a new beginning and my best part of life. They've worked so hard to earn it.
Yeah. It's
There's,
finally their time, right? They've raised
yeah,
kids and done their work and they've probably volunteered and served on boards, and
yeah,
it's finally their time to kind of define this chapter. And
yes,
it sounds like you're being very intentional about creating programs that allow them to create the experience, which is hard to do. I think the hardest thing about the have it your way generation is
yeah,
you have hundreds of people who all have a different definition of what a great day looks like, and how do you operationalize that?
yeah, yeah. And I think other organizations have been honestly better than we have in the past of the residents running and driving the kind of recreational aspects of the community. And I think we're calling it volunteerism, but that's a big focus for us because I think we're here to serve you. I think there's a lot of pitfalls to that because how far can you take that?
Yeah.
Whereas if the residents are really running a lot of things and leading a lot of things, then they're going to be more engaged like they want to be, but I think they're going to be especially relevant to the things that they want to do and be. So technology's been a big part of our Prospect 365 too. It's like getting an iPad when you move in, if you want one, and linking it to all the things in your so you can see in the apartment live or not what's happening all around. And so technology is becoming a massive important part of what we all want.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. There's a lot of tech adoption right now for residents of all ages. And so the more that they can do to understand what's going on today, what the menu is today, how to connect with other residents, it all helps them create that sense of community.
yeah. We're doing that using technology to do the kind of my story. So when you come, we really find out about you in like every your history, your life, it's so fun. And it's like a sales journey on steroids. So
Yeah,
what it gives you back is you hear these stories where somebody might say, I lived in Pittsburgh during this event happening in Pittsburgh. And then you find out there's other people at the community that had a connection to that also in some way. I lived in Pittsburgh, or
yeah.
I lived through that in that era. And so it lets you really put them together and connect in a way you couldn't possibly have done before. So I love that. I love that new way.
And do you use that in storytelling and marketing? Or it sounds like you've got a podcast show right there. Just interview your residents.
I know it's interesting you're asking that because we've been like how early on can we go that deep with them? I think I was really looking at all of the things that a salesperson information that they gather, and it's extensive because it's all aspects of their life when they're moving into a
Yeah.
retirement living, senior living. Yeah, it's their finances, it's their emotional well-being, it's their what do they want out of their life. And so I felt like it was hard. We were seeing that it was hard to get all that. And then this storytelling is deep.
Yeah.
It's really something. So the salespeople were a little bit challenged with figuring out how soon do we start to bring this into when they're a prospect, and I think we're leaning more into doing it right now, at least for when they make it as part of Prospect 365.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, and we used to just ask questions, and like Life Engagement would ask the questions or write them down, and that someday we're going to laugh at the things we used to do because it's gotten so much more sophisticated with
Yeah.
this, and it
So,
tells you how happy they are, their happiness levels, and kind of things that make them happy. So you can really gauge a lot of how to best support them in living
And
this.
it sounds like this 365. So you've mapped out the entire first year. So you start with maybe what does the transition or the pre-move-in experience look
Yeah.
like? And then there's certain steps that are maybe the first 30 days where it might be more,
Yes.
there might be more touch points in the first 30 days because
Yeah.
we want to make sure people do have that sense of community and belonging. And
Yeah.
then for the remainder of the year, you have certain touch points that are very intentional.
Yep. I think, let me give you a little bit more. On their anniversary, we give them a special formal dinner.
Yeah.
So a private dining room experience. They can invite people in. We also do, it's part of marketing really, but about 5 to 6 months after they moved in, to host a party in their apartment with their friends who haven't
Mm-hmm.
moved in yet. That's one of the ways you get all those
Yeah.
great referrals for move in. And I just want to say before I forget, like I polled, we have 55, 60 salespeople. 16 of them have an Axe, a family member at Axe, living at Axe. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a
That says a
lot.
lot.
Yeah. So if I think that there's a silver bullet in all of these things are amazing, but the silver bullet is work with your residents to build your business. You
Yeah.
know, I think if we can do it at almost 50%, and we're barely trying, we're trying, but I wouldn't say we said, we say to ourselves, wouldn't it be great if it was 80%? Let's shoot for 80%.
Yeah.
The impact, the transformative impact that it would have on all of our businesses to really draw from the people who live it and know it. And the adult children are so much more familiar with what senior living is now because they've seen their parents at this point live there. Back in the day, it was like, are you a nursing home? And we still get that ridiculous question. But I do think it's serving us well that adult children are saying, I want to live at a place that gives me meals and where I can work out and where I can make new friends and where I can have a great well-being experience. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah. I want it now. That sounds
I want it
wonderful.
now
As long as I can still do pickleball and my pottery, I'm all set. I'm ready.
too. I think they have those.
So, Megan, it sounds like a lot of this is very much of an outcome of this organic kind of multiple touch points, making people feel welcome, really creating this experience. Is there also a really formal referral program with any kind of an incentive attached to it? Or is really most of it coming from goodwill and a great experience?
The vast majority is goodwill. We do have a referral program. It's not much. I think it's $1,500. A lot of residents aren't that comfortable with it. They just say, I don't want you to pay me to bring my friend in. I feel
Right.
uncomfortable. And they can donate it if they want to. But I think that, and we used to have it so that it paid the resident, got a
Something.
something, and then the new prospect, the new move in got something. We change it so it's just the resident. And we even reduce the amount because I would not say that's a key driver. It's nice. It's a nice to have,
Yes.
but I don't think it's essential to have.
And it doesn't sound like there's really anything formalized around every quarter we're going to do a bring your friend kind of an event.
We do that actually. We
Okay.
do the housewarmings when they move in. We bring your friends.
Yeah.
So we cater it for them, and we always encourage them to bring their friends, having events based on those friendships. And another area that I think is huge is what clubs and organizations have they belonged to long before they moved in, and getting them to come in, their churches or whatever group the gardening clubs, whatever. Boy, is that the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so marketing and offering events to those. So we've been doing more and more of that. The natural, that community within a community, building strength around that. So when you find all of that out when they first move in, you're really able to keep talking about it with them so that they can. And when they first move in, it's like the first 6 months is, you can't go too early on that. They need time to adjust themselves.
Yeah, I really thought that was interesting. I spent most of my career on the for-profit side, and so things are quicker, right? Things are
Yeah.
moving through quicker. We don't have people really staying years and years. And
Yeah.
so there's almost this sense of have a housewarming party in the first 30 days and then
Yeah.
roll into the resident family referral program with the incentive. And I think the cadence is very different in the
Yes.
not-for-profit space. But I also love the personalization of hosting and catering something in their new home, not
Yeah.
in the private dining room. So I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of the choices that you've made
Yeah.
are just very thoughtful.
Yeah. We're very thoughtful.
Yeah.
We'll give that to us. No, it really is a very thoughtful company. But you know what else we have working in our favor? That continuing care model. So that a lot of this is nurtured because it takes 2 to 5 years for them to make the decision. That's our 30% are in the first 2 years, 30% are between 2 and 5, and
Yeah.
the last 30% is 5 plus years. That's
Wow.
a heck of a lot of nurturing,
That
right?
is.
And
That's
so, yeah, I mean,
that's a
that's
long
amazing.
sales cycle. That's
It's a long sales. And then we only have a 10% turnover rate in continuing care, right? I look at my peers who are in, I've been on a couple panels with people who are in that real high 40, 50, 60% turnover. You can't, it's much harder to do what I'm talking about today in that environment. You're a little bit in survival mode.
yeah.
I interview salespeople from those environments, and they're being asked to make 24 touches in 48 hours. And that's the game.
Yeah.
It's really, it's all about speed. I wish ours was a little sped up. We're
Yeah.
working on that. We're working on that with all these programs.
Yeah.
There's now ways to make the move less scary really matters. But yeah, and nurturing them through events. We do a 101 event, and then we have a whole campaign of events that kind of continue on with where their interest level is. And we learned through COVID that some of the best events are just invite them for an ice cream thing or a barbecue, like fun. Just come dance.
Fun.
And I think we lose sight of that too. Do you know what I mean? We're also intent on having them learn things. And really, don't we all just want to have friends and have fun?
Yeah, and that's how people make decisions. I think in general, we've gone down this it's an intellectual decision path, and we're going to educate you and convince you into making this decision. And the reality is, people make decisions emotionally, and they support those decisions with fact, not the
Yes.
other way around. And so we're
Yes.
always looking at, like, how do we take all the great reasons to choose your brand or your community,
Yeah.
but also connect them to it emotionally?
Yeah, yeah, truer words were never said. I think it's another silver bullet, Deb. I think it's
Yeah.
a key, remembering how people make decisions from their, and I think the sales job, I talk about this a lot, is such a heart and head
Mm-hmm.
endeavor. So we have Salesforce as our CRM, and we've
Yep.
actually built in a house and a heart and a human with a heart. And
Yeah.
as they gather more information, it fills up.
Oh, I love
I
that.
know, isn't that fun?
I love that. I think Sherpa used to do something like that. I
They
think
did. That's kind of
right?
what we borrowed it from, that filling something up.
Up.
Yeah. But I think salespeople tread all day and it's not easy. And ours could use some more work in that they get a little too entrenched in what you were describing. I need something from you. That's the whole Sherpa
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
And flipping the page and going, you know, it's about you, right? It's about you.
Yeah. It's flipping that intent from being transactional and extracting information and instead focusing, that prospect-centered selling is just as relevant today, and really
Oh,
putting the focus and understanding that whatever interaction we're having with that prospect in that moment should be focused on adding value for them,
yeah.
not extracting information so that you can fill out your CRM. And sometimes I feel, certainly in the rental time, that when I look at auditing anybody's CRM and we go in and take a look at what percentage of information is actually gathered, and I think only 10% of our clients have a fully filled out profile, even when people get to move in. There are just so
Right.
many gaps. But the things they always have is how old they are, what their
Yeah.
medications are, what their address is, what their home value is, how much money they made. But the things that are really missing when we really dig in is really some of that life story, the trigger events, the emotional, the barriers, the concerns, and because those aren't comfortable, fun conversations to have.
And I don't know, because you really get exposed to more organizations than I do. And a big area for us of work is our salespeople are always making these follow-up calls and not getting them to pick up. It's, for one, it's just enormously frustrating for them. Who wants to
Yes,
spend their day leaving messages,
that's not
right?
fun.
And what it says to me is that they're not feeling the value proposition,
Hmm.
right? That relationship is not there yet.
Yeah.
And so going back to, like, for us, I jokingly at Gilligan's Island call it the 3-hour tour. It's like
Yes.
the 3-hour tour is just the wrong approach. For one,
Yeah.
who can withstand that?
That's right.
And I think we've got to really shift. It's hard to do because I think I get it. Salespeople are in front of them. I've got them. They're in. They're
Right.
here. Fine, and who knows where it will go from here. So that they exhaust them.
Yeah.
And especially with our cycle, I think you've really got to set expectations like, why don't you pop by for coffee
Yeah.
for half an hour on Wednesday?
Yes.
And then why don't you come in for fun or come in for something educational or come in and meet a resident? We do a lot of that, meeting residents and interacting with residents. But I think I think we've got to change. Even those that have that fast sales cycle have got to stop thinking of them as
Hmm.
something to push through. And we're all guilty of it because they're rejecting us for that. They're not calling us back
Yeah.
unless you do more of that other thing, which AI is picking up on. How do you set yourself apart? Which I think we both talk about a lot. It
Yeah.
has become absolutely mission critical that the salespeople know how to communicate what sets their place apart. And how many years have we watched the salespeople all talking about, we have the nicest staff? That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
We probably all do. But
Yeah.
I think it's really, you and I have talked about using AI recently for different things. Like
Hmm.
it's going right to the things that who's pointing out what sets them apart
Yeah.
in a real way, in a real way.
Yeah. I got a couple of things out of that I want to touch base on. Is one is like, how do we almost retrain salespeople in a longer sales cycle? Certainly the CCRC life plan sales cycle of
Yeah.
setting an expectation about like micro engagements
Yes.
with
Yeah.
prospects and letting them know that we do things a little differently here. We're going to be in touch with you on a regular basis. And
Right.
my hope is that every time you see my phone number, you're going to be like, I can't wait to talk to Megan, because every time I do, she's inviting me to something fun or she has
Yeah.
something interesting, whereas everybody else is just kind of checking in. We also have seen SMS being a big factor in increasing pickups on phone calls. So if you
Yeah.
send a text, it's like a 30% higher connect rate to say, hey, I'm going to be calling you in a few minutes. I'm so excited to invite you to this thing that we have coming up.
I love that. And I love that you know that. And I know I'm that way.
Yeah.
And all the kids now are like, if I want to talk to a niece or nephew, can I call you at 5:30 on Tuesday on my drive home so we could catch up? I would never, I just gone are the days where I would pick up the phone and just call a friend. I would
Always.
set it up by text. So you're
Yeah.
right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Just give them a quick heads up and then give them always something to be looking forward to, that when you call,
Yeah.
it's not just wasting their time. It's really checking in. And then the other thing about differentiation, you talked a lot about, I love the Love Transition with Live Now, the new resident welcome initiative, the 365, really being
Yeah.
thoughtful. And I think what you're talking about is really planning an experience.
Yeah.
How do we create an ACTS experience? And that has to translate, like it can't wait until they engage with your sales team. So how
Yeah.
can marketing take that experience and from their first interaction, which is probably on your website, how are you translating some of these great differentiators? So your future resident club and your white glove transition and your 365 and your well-being program. Do
Yeah.
you feel like that your marketing that's part of that differentiation? Or do you feel like sometimes that's not really being addressed until later in the sales cycle? But maybe if you'd introduced it a little bit earlier, people could say, there's 4 communities that are life plan communities, but this one has those things and it's going to
Yeah.
make my life easier. Can you talk a little bit about on the marketing side of that?
Yeah. And if you went on our website today, you would not get that. And we're
Okay.
overhauling it for that
Okay.
reason, because I just recently, I do think the website is still the majority of the way that people come to you, or so it says. What we're
Yeah.
really doing a better job is asking them, we know you came on our website, but
What brought you there?
how did you hear about us? And
Yeah.
that's where we're starting to get these increasing numbers on letting it tell us that it's word of mouth from
Mm.
residents and families and friends. So I think it's probably 60 or 70%, honestly. It just looks
Yeah.
like a website. And I am going to websites less and less. So last week we went out all to our favorite websites and brought it in and had a meeting. What do you like about it?
Yeah.
And it is conveying a feeling, back to that feeling thing that
Yeah.
we have to do a better job of. Instead of this menu of services and a million testimonials, it has to be woven together in a way that tells you the story that's meaningful to them.
Yeah.
And I understand that you're doing this insane thing where the website really tailors to what they've poked in and showed you they have an interest in it. I think
Yeah.
I should be interviewing you about because we're not doing that. And I think that just sounds amazing to me.
I'll let you know when the first one goes live.
Yes, and the journeys. Oh, the journeys
Yeah.
are you've been way ahead of the curve on that too. We're just getting better and better in that. And AI is helping so much. But something more rudimentary, I just worked really hard with some members of our team to create a little booklet called Why Acts. And it was really hard because we really wanted it to be super simple. I'm just going to roll it out to the salespeople next week. And it's probably 10 pages telling that story.
Okay.
Financially strong and the why, but it was done in a way. Here's what it is. Say it's financially strong. Here's what's unique to us about it. And here's what's worth knowing about it. And so it's very simplified. And on the back, it has now let's talk about what's on your mind. And so I want the salespeople to sit with every person who comes in at the end and make sure they're leaving with those. It's so compelling, honestly. This book is so compelling that I would leave going, why wouldn't I do this? It's got everything that you could think of in a very simple thing. And I think it's forcing, I hope, the salespeople to sit there and go, now that we've kind of highlighted that, let's chart out a path together. Let's not do that. See you soon. See you.
Yeah. I'll call you.
It's so bad. But don't be afraid to start documenting the journey with them that they're on together. Do you know?
Yes.
So that's not a website, but it is something that I think we've sorely needed.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to embed a lot of those things in our new website so when you're on Chat GPT or whatever, it's popping out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great strategy because Chat GPT is just looking for those things that only you can say. That is so unique to you that you can confidently stand in this place.
Yes.
With your unique story.
Yeah.
Because if it can be on anybody else's website, it's really not worth building.
And I do think that you've seen, I think once at Smash, I saw a panel of adult children and they're all like, you all look the same.
Yeah.
You look the same and your brochures do not look like what your communities look like. Yeah. So the onus is on us to use social media and show the real stories and have the residents and families tell our story for us. And our supreme challenge is to not look the same. I asked that question at SHN and I said, how many of you think your brochure is unique? And they all raised their hand. I don't think so. You don't want to go go back on that and research that because they don't. And
Oh,
it ain't easy. So it's same with when you're developing your website. It's like, how much of it should be aspirational, vignettes? Because our pictures all look so similar.
yeah.
And video, I think videos telling a lot of, I told you we looked at a lot of websites, and a lot of the new ones are doing this kind of video up front, a brief video.
Hmm.
So it has a vitality to it that I think is
Yeah.
is a nice movement.
Yeah, people love video, the engagement of video. And then there's always that trade-off of, is it going to slow down my website? Because it takes a lot of memory to run video. And so
No.
it's like,
And can you see it on your phone? These are the
right.
challenges.
They are. There are so many challenges.
There
It's
are.
not easy. But
That's
you
why I
guys,
think we just need to boil the ocean and go with the silver bullets. And it's definitely referral residents
yeah,
or word of mouth. It is like, why are we working so hard when
yeah.
our customer can tell our story for us?
And
And
it's much more authentic when it comes to them. The trust is much
yes,
higher. And whether you're looking at the Welcome Home benchmarking reports that come out or the Align, it all says the same thing. You've got aggregators that have 80% volume, but only 3 to 6% conversion. And then you have unpaid referral sources. So these are your, friend and family, resident, employee, and healthcare referrals for needs-based care. And those are like, unfortunately, it's the opposite. It's 4%, but their closing ratio is somewhere between 40 and 50%. But people just seem to really struggle with, how do I create this experience, right?
it is that. And I'm looking at before I got on with you, I looked at the benchmark report from
Yeah,
Washington, and it's like family friends referral that convert inquiry to move in 12, 13%.
yeah,
There's our opportunity, guys.
yeah,
How many years now have you gone to parties, cocktail party, wherever you're talking to people of a certain age and they are so confused? Like,
yeah,
tell me what to do. Tell me what is the difference. Tell me how you pay for it.
yep,
And they should be confused. It's complicated. It touches every aspect of a person's life, to
yep,
financially, emotionally, all the things we've talked about. So I think we clearly have an opportunity to help people break down the essence of it. And I'm a big fan of thinking it's all about being human, what you've alluded
yeah,
to. Everything should be based on the human touch, the human emotion. And I think then you'll win them because that's what we all really are here for, right?
that's
It's
right.
even if you're not outgoing. I was an executive director for a few years, and I had one resident who came down into the lobby at 10 o'clock every night and just hung out with the person on the desk. She was that, and that made it for her. That
Yeah,
was what she was very isolated. She liked being alone, but that was what that was her touch point.
yeah.
Like,
It was quiet.
yeah, we need to respect that everyone's got to find it their own way.
Yep, yep.
But yeah,
Well,
I think that's a sweet spot.
that is a sweet spot. That's a great spot to end our conversation. Loved having you on, Megan. This was such a special conversation. And oftentimes we don't get a lot of insight from the kind of life plan type of model. We have a lot of people talking about rental, and it is different. There's a lot of nuances that can be challenging, but also are really advantageous as well, not to have that rush. So that's a gift. So if people wanted to learn more about what you're doing at Axe, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
I have a very long email address. I'll give it to you.
Well, we can put it in the show notes. How about that?
Okay, that sounds
How
good.
about LinkedIn?
Oh, or LinkedIn. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I feel like there's so many. It's like this email, my home email, my work email, texting, Teams. It's hard to not lose something. LinkedIn. So you
Yep.
are welcome to email me. That's probably the better way.
That's great. We'll make sure to put that in the show notes. And Megan, thank you so much for sharing your senior living marketing perspectives with us today. I hope we'll
No
see you
fun.
soon.
So great to know you, Deb.
You too.
All right.
Take
Bye.
care.